Anyways, hello and welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Today, the second video for today, we're going to be looking over at the kit for IG-12 and Grogu, and we'll also take a look at Datacron set 12, which looks to be a snooze fest for that set, I'm not even going to lie. But anyways, IG-12 and Grogu, they're a light side, they're a healer, they're Mandalorian. Apparently they're going to be like a Mon Mothma and C-3PO where they do no damage. So, yeah, that really about covers it up. Whenever they're paired with Beskar, whenever they're paired with Bam, they both gain the scoundrel tag. So that'll be an interesting way to run a Bam team with IG-12 and Grogu if you really want to. And the marquee will be on Thursday. Go figure. And yeah, let's just get into the kit because there's not really much to cover on it. The basic is called No. You inflict healing immunity on target enemy for 2 turns, and it can't be evaded or resisted, and you call a random light side Mandalorian ally to assist that deals 50% less damage. And then if it was IG-12's turn, you inflict ability block for a turn, which can't be evaded or resisted, and you remove the damage you remove the damage penalty from the assisting ally. So, I mean, nifty. Okay. Yes is the first special, has cooldown 2, the weakest ally and target ally. Dispel all debuffs on themselves and recover health equal to 30% of IG-12's max health and all ally gains. Wow, I cannot read tonight. All allies gain defense up for 2 turns. So basically, you'll probably want this IG-12 and Grogu character to be modded to the gills with health, honestly. And then No is the second special with a cooldown of 3. You call the target other ally to assist. You inflict blinded daze on all enemies for 2 turns. And you dispel all buffs from all enemies and stun the target enemy for 1 turn. So, nifty little thing where IG-12 throws a melee rune at them and voila. The one and only unique is yes is Zeta Omicron. Like I said at the beginning of this, if Bam is present, him and IG-12 gain a scoundrel tag, and then IG-12 and Grogu has 100% crit counter chance for each light side Mandalorian ally at the beginning of battle, excluding summoned allies. IG-12 gains 20% max health. So really modding this character with health will be pertinent to make this a better overall thing, because also going back up to the heal, you know, you're recovering health equal to 30% of IG-12's max health, so health it is. At start of IG-12's turn, all light side Mandalorian allies recover 10% of his max health, so again, lots of health. If they're already at full health, they gain offense up and protection up 10% for 1 turn instead, so, you know, whenever IG-12 uses a special, a random light side Mandalorian ally assists, gaining additional effects depending on what ability is used. If it was the Yes ability, which is the heal, the assisting ally reduces their cooldowns by 1. If it's No, the assisting ally deals 20% more damage and assists again. And then if there are no other allied combatants at the start of the turn, IG-12 escapes from battle. So, a nifty little unique there. If you really want to go with the Omicron for Territory Wars, the first time each allied light side Mandalorian ally loses all protection, IG-12 gains a bonus turn, and the cooldown No is reset. Call an additional other ally whenever IG-12 uses a special ability, and they gain additional effects depending on the ability used. I imagine this stacks on top of what the Zeta does, but yes, the assisting ally will deal 10% more damage and recover 20% protection. If it's No, the assisting ally gains crit damage up for 2 turns. So, it's a very simplistic kit. I'm not really head over heels over it. I mean, it's cool that IG-12 and Grogu are being added, but it's just like, I really just, yeah, it's just a kit. It's another character I gotta gear up now, so it's like, ugh, great. Hopefully, with tying that with bow, armorer, Taz, and himself, obviously, that would be pretty neat. So, I mean, you know, I guess time will tell to see how good IG-12 is, other than, like, obviously lots of health modding-wise. Now we'll go over Datacron set 12, which, retaining the theme of the last several of them, the relic requirements are levels 1, 3, and 5 instead of, you know, the original 3, 5, and 7. I'm beginning to wonder if this is going to be a permanent thing, or is it just because these Datacron sets have very unviable character, well, not characters, but factions, even characters in this one, to work on. So the stats, you got resistance pin, armor pin, physical crit chance, special accuracy, and physical accuracy. The bottom two make people kind of wonder if there's going to be a dodge thing next time, because with the set we have now, set 11, it's just flat accuracy across the board, but this is calling 2 of them out in particular, so I hope to God Datacron set 13 doesn't have dodge, but I guess time will tell, because this will be replacing the one that we lose later this month, which is Datacron set 10. So, oh, is it 10? Whatever number it is. Yeah. The stats are just, extra armor pin will be good to get through the defense, so, you know, that's good. The alignments, light side and dark side, so we got both coverages. They're the same freaking things. So whenever an ally starts a turn with at least 2 buffs that can be dispelled, you gain 5% off in stacking until the end of the encounter. Whenever allies start their turn, for each enemy with fewer than 40 buffs, that ally gains 30% potency until the end of the turn. And whenever an ally gains a buff to another ally, that ally recovers 3% health protection. And whenever either light side or dark side allies recover 2% health, they recover 2% health whenever they're critically hit by an enemy. So nothing too spectacular there, other than the often stacking one with buff dispelling and maybe protection and health recovery, depending on some teams. But like, I've seen better, and it just gets worse from here. The factions are just, they're an eye roll. This is so outside of the stats, this is a very, unless you have Tuskens and Jawas, and the Hutt Cartel is going to be the biggest hit, and Scoundrels as well, you're really not going to be head over heels on this. Like, the Tusken ones, you get, it's basically repeats of what the Tusken was beforehand, like whenever it was out last time. So, you know, whenever Tusken allies critically hit enemies, that enemy gains 1% TM, and whenever they take a dot effect, Tusken allies recover 10% protection and 5% counter chance stacking, maxing out at 100%. And if it's a Tusken ally in a leadership slot, all enemies are inflicted with dots. All enemies inflicted with dots can't recover health. Tuskens recover 50% health protection. Well, recover health protection equal to 50% of the amount of the enemies that recovered. What they recovered that turn, the enemies did. The first time they've dropped below 50% health, they gain damage immunity for a turn, health steal up for 2 turns. The first time they drop below 50% health, all allies just cooldowns by 1 and gain 10% TM. That might be pretty good to run with the Tuskens on top of that one and the dot one. And whenever they have full health protection, they deal 100% more damage on their turn. That one won't be as easy to pull off just because the amount of protection heals rather rapidly with Tuskens. Jawas, the best one's going to be this top one, the most worriest one. They gain 100% bonus protection, and all enemies are inflicted with provoke for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy takes damage from a thermal detonator expiring, Jawas recover 5% health protection, gain 5% TM, and there's an 80% chance that an enemy inflicted with a thermal detonator per turn. So yeah. And then damage immunity 1 again, the health and protection recovery again. Whenever a debuff on an enemy expires, they gain 2% tenacity and potency until the end of the battle. So that'll be kind of frequent with the thermals going off. And whenever a Jawa damages an enemy that and no one's blinded, they inflict blind for 2 turns. So the Hutt Cartel one, the Hutt Cartel ones worry me quite a bit. The ones that we get the level 9 rules for, I should say. But whenever enemies are damaged at the start of the turn, the Hutt Cartel allies gain 2% TM, which with the boost Cron that will be out, that will be that'll be quite a lot of TM to run. The first time they drop below 50% health, they gain damage immunity. Whenever they defeat an ally, they take a bonus turn. And the first time they drop below 50% health, all the Hutt Cartel allies reduce their cooldowns by 1 and gain 10% TM. There are some shenanigan ones with those, the first and second, like the first one and the fourth one, because that TM one with the boost Cron is going to be a nightmare, and then this one, might also be good for Boosh, or maybe with a Cad Bane team or something like that. The Scoundrel ones, whenever they use a basic, they reset their cooldowns and they get 100% TM, which is only limited to once per character per battle. Whenever there's an enemy defeated by a Scoundrel, they can't be revived. Whenever the Scoundrel defeats an enemy, they take a bonus turn. And it's the ability block Cron and the blind Cron. So the Scoundrels have a good spread, especially the ability block or the blind Crons. If you really want to go with the basic one, I mean, sure, but I don't know how well it's going to be overall. So, you know, there is that. Sorry, I was trying to look at OBS real quick because it had an update, and now I'm trying to, like, remonkey with things or anything. Okay, now for the character ones, there is a lot of meh in here. There are some gems. The Tusken Chieftain one is whenever an Tusken ally uses an ability, he assists. And whenever an enemy is inflicted with a dot, an additional dot is applied. Tusken Warriors is the same as it was beforehand with the stupid stacks of momentum. So that's going to be annoying to deal with again. Tusken Shaman, whenever an enemy is stunned, they take a bonus turn. Tusken Raider gains the same one that it had last time, I'm pretty sure. Whenever, for each additional ally, for each Tusken ally at the start of the encounter, they gain 25% more offense. Whenever they use Tusken Ambush, they dispel all buffs on the enemy and deal 20% more damage per buff dispelled. And yeah, has the assist one, dealing 50% more damage. So probably the best one out of them are obviously going to be Warrior Chieftain and Raider. Shamans is kind of just there, but that is more dependent on if, well, Shaman are kind of there, but those are more dependent on if you have the Tuskens completely worked up. Jawas, oh my god, Jawas are interesting. Jawa, the OG Jawa, I should say, gains Foresight for 2 turns at the start of each enemy's turn, and whenever they lose Foresight, they gain Evasion up for a turn. The Scavengers is probably going to be the best one to run with. It critically hits whenever possible. The first time they are defeated and there are any active allies alive, they revive with 100% health and gain Stealth for 3 turns. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with thermals, Jawa ally gain 10% stacking for a turn, and then there's a 50% chance to inflict an additional thermal detonate for 2 turns. So it's the final bit there, you know, the stacking defense and then the additional thermals being thrown on that are going to be annoying. Dacha, you gain 15% TM whenever another ally uses a special on their turn. Nebit gains 5% more damage per relic and fire level on all allies present at the start of battle, which seems kind of ridiculous, but I mean, if you have your Jawas worked up from the crate raid, then good on you. And whenever Jawas engineers, whenever another ally uses an ability on turn, they assist, dealing 50% more damage. You're either probably going to go for Scavenger or Engineer, maybe Nebits if you really want to. Jawa, the OG Jawas is also interesting, but this is all dependent on if you have them worked up. Now for the Hut Cartel. There are a couple of stinkers in here, but I mean, you know, there are some okay ones. Gamorrean Guards is very weird. The max cooldown of Muscle is reduced by 2. If the leader is a Hut Cartel, the Gamorrean Guard assist whenever they use the ability. Whenever Gamorrean Guards inflict a dot, there's a 50% chance they inflict an additional dot for 3 turns. And then the Hut Cartel allies gain 10% max health, maxing out at 50%, and an additional 50% max protection maxes out at 50%. So the same thing. You gain 10% max health and max protection. Bushes is annoying. This is going to be the one of the more annoying ones. It's probably the most annoying one in the set, let's be completely honest here. Well, that and also the one that we'll get to in a few minutes. Bush, the max cooldown of Invincive reduced by 1. Whenever she inflicts a thermal detonator on enemy, she inflicts an additional thermal detonator, and Hut Cartel allies gain 10% armor pin, maxing out at 70%, and then they gain 10% TM as well, once per turn. That's going to be a lot of armor pin stacking, especially with the fact that this set already has armor pin baked into it for the stats. Chrysanthemums is interesting. It's to reflect 20% of damage back onto the attacker, so... well, it's physical damage, so let me clarify that. It's not all the damage, physical damage, so... You might be able to slow down Kylo from killing him. I don't know. Cads, you can maybe do with, like, leftover Hut Cartel and then Bounty Hunter team. He deals an additional 5% more damage per relic campfire level on all allies present at the start of battle, so you throw him into like some random bounty hunter team, you might be good. Mob Enforcers, whenever she uses the basics, she gains protection up for 2 turns and 50% TM. Whenever she damages an enemy using a special, she inflicts fear for a turn on that enemy, which can't be evaded or resisted. That one's actually not half bad, but compared to Bush's, are you gonna go for it? That's a better question. Maybe, but that's more your call. I'm not gonna dictate on or suggest who you should work on for that. L3s, whenever she deals damage, she deals an additional physical damage equal to 25% of her max health, and whenever she gains prepared, she gains 15% TM. Cara Dune, she removes TM. Whenever she removes TM from an enemy, she deals damage to them equal to 25% of her max health. So, okay. Aphra's is back, so the Aphra is going to be heavily dominating Jabba teams for a while again. At the end of each droid ally's turn, she takes a bonus turn and recovers 5% health protection. Vet Han, whenever he crit hits an enemy, he gains 10% crit damage, defense pin, and offense maxing out 200% until the end of the battle. Nifty. IG-11, and whenever he uses an ability, they deal damage maxing out 100%, equal to half their potency percentage, and this effect will only trigger if they have more than 0% potency. So, honestly, the best ones you want to get from all this, obviously Aphra, Bush's, maybe Chrysanthemum and Cad Bane's will be interesting. Kara's is also good if you have her worked up. She'll be removing CM quite frequently as it is. L3's isn't half bad either. Mob Enforcers is intriguing with the fear, but that means you gotta push Mob Enforcer up from Relic 3 to Relic 5 to make that work. And then obviously some Tusken and Jawa stuff, Warrior Chieftain, Raiders for the Tuskens, Scavenger, maybe Dathsha and Engineer. I don't know, this Jawa one really confused me. And then also they posted that the raid is coming. The raid drops. Yeah, the raid drops tomorrow on Wednesday the 15th. I don't know why it says whatever, it goes off UTC sign, but you know, on the 15th we will be getting the speeder bike raid, so that'll be interesting to deal with. I'm not sure how well that's gonna go, but yeah. And instead of making like a whole bunch of separate videos for this, I decided to wait and see, and I guess it paid off. So yeah, let me know what y'all think of this myriad of stuff coming up, and yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later on. I hope you have a good rest of your day.